and I wanted to take you through your first suspended chords. We're going to do Sus2 and Sus4 chords on the D, and then we're going to learn the next module another chord like maybe A and Sus2 and Sus4. These, I call them, the actual full name, you might have heard this before, is suspended. D, suspended second, D, suspended fourth. You'll see it a lot written out if you're looking at music on the internet or tabs. There's as sus, S-U-S. And normally, many times you'll see like the major chord or the minor chord, because you could use these with majors and minors, and I'm going to show you that. You'll see like D, and the next chord D sus2, D, D sus4, D. Usually they're sandwiched in between the major or the minor, or D minor, D sus2, D minor, D sus4. Very easy, and you're going to be amazed in a second. You're going to be playing them in 5 minutes, and you'll be like, wow, this is so cool. Okay, so S-U-S, suspended second, which has we're taking out, and this will tie in later when I get to your first theory lesson on chord construction. For the sus2, we're removing the third of the chord, and we're playing a root, a second, and a fifth, and that's what makes it a sus2. And the sus4, again, we take out the third, and we'll play the root, the fourth, and the fifth. That's why these chords work so well with major or minor chords. There's no third to clash, and that will make sense when I get to chord construction, theory-wise. It's always good to learn a little bit of theory. We make it easy here. I'm just planting seeds now. I know that doesn't mean a lot to you right now, but it will when we get to the theory section, okay? So, there's a method to our madness here. Let's play guitar. Okay. Let's take a chord you know. You know your D major, and it should be sounding pretty good already, right? There's a nice D major chord, right? Notice the muting with the thumb. To play a D sus4, so simple. All you do, add your pinky right to the high E string, right next to your third finger, on the G note. You're going to add that note to the D chord. In the key of D, you're adding a fourth, making it, and you're taking away the third, because we're no longer playing the F sharp note, we're playing this note. Okay? So now you get this, you get the chord with the pinky added. Here's another shot of that, as opposed to your D major. Your pinky should be right there anyway, right? How we always say it. So all you're doing is this. Blip. And listen to the difference. D major. Here's the D sus4. Hear that difference? D, D sus4. Okay? Alright. Big difference in sound adding that one note. Now, to play the D sus2, or D suspended second, all you're going to do is you're going to take away, play D major, and then take away your second finger. Just lift up with the second finger. Okay? So you were playing this note, which is the F sharp. We're now going to substitute the open E string for that, because you're not going to play that. You're going to pull that second finger off. So you're adding a second, taking away the third, making it a D suspended second. And you get, here's your D major. Now listen to the difference. And I'm just pulling my pinky away just so you can get a better picture of this. There's the D. Now listen when I remove that second finger. Hear the difference? Listen to that suspended chord. Suspended chords, remember our ear training, they're very ringy, very lingering. They suspend, they linger. Okay? Listen to that lingering quality of that chord. Again, I'm not playing with my second finger, it's lifted off. Listen to the sustain. The sustain, it goes on like Nigel from Spinal Tap. The sustain. D sus2, D major. Sus4, D. I have a melody. Isn't that easy? You're just taking away or adding a finger. What could be simpler? Okay? So here's what I want you to try now. We're going to do a little, one measure on each chord. And this is a great exercise for you. Okay? What I want you to try is we're going to do a measure on D, then add the pinky, measure on D, sus4, take away the pinky, go back to D, then take away the second finger, measure on D sus2, and put the second finger back. So, we're going D, D sus4, D, D sus4, back to D, the D sus2, back to D. For now, always sandwich the major, or we're going to do it with the minor chord, in between the suspensions. That will help you with your timing. So we start off on the mother chord. We'll call it D. Then you go to the suspended second, or the suspended fourth. In this case, we'll go to the sus4. D, D sus4, D, D sus2, D. Okay? It's going to sound like this. Let me play it once, and then you can try to hop in with me. And we're going to do a measure on each one. And listen to how much richer this would sound than if I just stay on the D chord the whole time. Right? Because after a while, if you're on a song, and you just keep playing that D, like on Turn the Page or whatever, that's going to get a little boring, right? That's going to not be as interesting. Right? So let's do a measure D, add the pinky, D sus4, take away the pinky D, take away the second finger sus2, add it, and listen to how great this is going to sound. Strum 2, down, down, up, up, down, up, which you should have down by now. So we'll go nice and slow. Hop in with me after you listen to this, and I'll keep repeating it. Actually, 2 measures. I'll tell you what, to make it even easier, let's do 2 measures on each chord, because 1 measure might be a little hard at first. So 2 measures on each. So D. Get ready to add that pinky. Now. Now take it off. Good. Now get ready to take off that second finger. There's that sus2. And back to D. Okay, I want you to practice that, and then once you get the hang of that, let's do 1 measure each, okay? Same progression, D, D sus4, D, D sus2, D, and just keep revolving that around. We're going to play it a few times through now, and listen how awesome it's going to sound. And you're just adding or taking away a finger. Very easy on these suspensions or these add chords. Let's try it again. Here we go. Let me give you a little different view. There you go. There's a nice view of that chord. There's my sus4. I'll add with the pinky. And then I go back to D, and I go take that second finger away for the sus2. So here it is, 1 measure a chord slow. Strum 2. Sus4. D. Sus2. D. Now hop in with me. D again. Sus4. D. Sus2. D. One more time, D again. Pinky, sus4, back to D, sus2. Awesome, very good. Doesn't that sound great? And pretty soon we're going to be doing them less than a measure each, where we'll be separating your right and left hand. That comes later, but just to show you, we can make it even more interesting by peppering them in there quickly. We'll get to that later. It would sound like this, just to show you how awesome these are. Okay, we'll get to that, but that's just a little primer to show you where we're going with that. But you can do that, but you got to take it in stages. Remember, structure. First thing, I want you to get down D, D sus4, D, D sus2, D, and then try them a measure each. Measure each. Throw them in there. Sounds beautiful. Sus2. Okay. Now remember, I want you to work on that, and you're going to get that pretty quickly, because it's very easy, because you know that D chord. You've been playing it a while, and now you're just using the suspensions. 1 finger on or taking away, right? Always go back to the major chord, though. That'll keep your timing straight. Or go back to the minor chord, and let me show you that now on the D minor. Remember, with these sus2 and sus4 chords, in most instances, you can use them with major or with minor chords. So anytime we have a song, we'll go into a minor chord, D minor, A minor, we're going to add the sus2 or sus4 for interest. Sounds awesome. And it's fun. So if you have a D minor, which you know how to play, which you've been playing, right? Here's our D minor chord. Give you a little different look at that. Okay. Remember, that pinky should be piggybacked on that third finger. To go from D minor to D sus4, just add the pinky again. Hear the difference? Now I'll take off the pinky. Back to D minor. Again, I'm keeping it way back just to show you. Normally you want to just keep it right there. Very small movement. Here's your D minor. Here's your D sus4. Question I get a lot, is that a D minor sus4? No such thing as that D minor sus4. The chord is a D sus4 that you can play with minors or majors, okay? Because there's no third in the chord to clash against the major third for the major chord or the minor third for the minor chord. D sus4, D sus2. So we play D minor. Let's add the sus4 with our pinky. Sounds really pretty. Minor, remember, sounds dark, right? Remember our colors of chords, we're training your ear. Dark sounding chord, love that. And we add that pinky. So basically a suspended chord really isn't a sus2 or sus4. It really isn't in the minor family, it's not in the major family because it has no third in it. So it's like if we're looking, right now we're looking at families of chords. Remember I said we have our majors, which are happy sounding, our minors, which are dark, our sevenths, dominant sevenths, which are twangy and bluesy, and our major sevenths, which are sweet and jazzy and dreamy. We now have our suspended chord family, which we'll add to that. And those are very lingering, ringy. You can always hear them, they just go on and on. Okay, now how do you make this D minor a D sus2? The D sus4, we had our pinky, right? And then we're back to D minor. Easy. To go from D minor to D sus2, remember what the D sus2 looks like? Just remove that first finger. And there's our D sus2. Hear the ringiness? Here's another look. D sus2. D minor. D sus2. D minor, we just add our first finger. Sus4. We add the pinky. Okay? So, and if you need, you want to look at these chords a little longer. They're in the video chord library. Go into the chord library and you could spend a little more time on them and really get the fingerings down and study them extensively, right? Okay? So, check it out. Let's do one measure on each. Starting, we're going to go D minor. Then we're going to add our pinky for a measure to play the D sus4. Then we're going to take the pinky off to go back to the D minor. Then we're going to take our first finger off to go to the D sus2, and then put the first finger back on for D minor. Again, it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't, okay? I'm going to do one measure each, and I'm going to strum very slow with strum 2. Actually, at first time, let's do it the same way we did for D. Let's do 2 measures each, and then we'll knock it down to 1 measure each, okay? So 2 measures each. Here we go. One more measure. There's a sus4, 2 measures, back to D minor, down, down, up. Now we go to the sus2, take off that first finger for 2 measures, and back to D minor. Okay? Now that's going to sound a little darker, right? Doesn't that sound dark? Because you're pedaling off of a D minor chord, which is dark, compared to when we did it a minute ago with D major. It sounds a lot happier because you're pedaling off the D major chord. Let's do it again, but this time 1 measure per chord. Okay, same thing. D minor, pinky, D sus4, D minor, pinky off. First finger off, D sus2, first finger on, D minor. 1 measure each. Go through it a couple times. Strum 2, very slow. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. D minor, 2, 3, 4. Pinky, pinky off, first finger off, sus2, first finger on. Play the D minor again, here we go, D minor, sus4, D minor, sus2, first finger off, D minor. One more time, D minor, down, up, down, up, D sus2, I mean sus4, sorry, D minor. sus2, take the first finger off, back to D minor. Okay, wasn't that fun? You know? And easy. Easy and fun, and listen to all that harmonic richness that you're going to be able to get just by adding a finger or taking away a finger. I want you to practice that, add that to your practice routine. You're going to get that very quickly. Work on the D, sus2, D sus4, sandwich them in between the majors, strum slow, or the minor. Practice them both. And measure 2 measures on each, then go 1 measure on each. Try them with strum 2, strum 1, and next module we're going to learn A sus2, A sus4. Good stuff. We'll see you in the next module. Rock on.